It's time for Dodger baseball.
The band is out on the field. Get out the rye bread and the mustard this time, Grandma. It is a grand salami.
Curry, way downtown. Bang! Bang! Touch 'em all, Joe. You'll never hit a bigger home run in your life.
Oh, God! Stokely down the sideline. Can they catch him? Stokely! Wow!
Freeze hits it in the air to center. We will see you tomorrow night.
Welcome to the Media Guide Podcast, a show about sportscasting. I'm Alan Bean, Chase Dulude on side, and this week we'll be covering what goes into a sports broadcast. But before we get to that, how you doing, Chase?
I'm doing good today, perpetually tired, but such is the life of a college student. You know how it goes.
I am still having the problem where I am much quieter than you.
Here we go.
This is going to be hell for me to end, but that's fine.
We got the intro. Let's
Exactly. So any advancements in your sportscasting career so far?
go. I mean, even since last time, kind of no, because Nevada's kind of phasing out the age of college students doing any of the broadcasts in favor of having it done on NSN. So
You could join Beanball.
yeah, I could. We could go do that.
Yeah.
Not
I have
opposed to
absolutely no plans for the off season, so probably just like practice it. Maybe that could be another episode of the podcast. We tried broadcasting a sports game together. In parentheses, it did not go well.
Yes, exactly. Just broadcast a bunch of like college football games or something like that.
Exactly. Like just throw on a game and see what happens. But yeah, I'm still trying to figure out when I can restart Beanball, just because I am so busy with everything else here.
Yeah, it's a little rough on college campus.
Yep, we have entered we've entered final project season.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Riveting commentary.
yes, we know. Yes, we are sports commentators, ladies and gentlemen. We know how to
We know
fill
how-
dead air.
Exactly. We don't create dead air at all.
I can make noise.
For listeners, Chase just threatened to scream into the microphone.
Yes. Pretty much how I feel listening to Tony Romo talk nowadays.
Yeah, that. But before we get too much into the weeds with our insane, riveting, distracted commentary, let's talk about like kind of what goes into a sports broadcast. This time I'm relying on Chase completely because remember last week I only covered like the first part of sports history. I only had a little bit prepared. This time I have absolutely nothing prepared. So Chase, you're on your own.
That you've fallen right into my trap because I have nothing prepared as well, except for the fact that I do. So with sports broadcasting, at the very least at the level I've done, they try to make it as professional as possible. Instead of mics here on campus, we mainly use headsets with mics attached, kind of gamer mic, but honestly with a lot lower quality than like gamer mics you can pick up from Walmart, which is really funny to think about. But we just sit there. Obviously, you have to do your own research beforehand. I've been guilty of showing up unprepared a few times, but it's just more like having enough to talk about with regards to like the players, and getting the pronunciation right is sometimes really difficult, especially the Mountain West Conference is a conference with a lot of players that hail from Hawaii, so a lot of their names, if they don't shorten them, it's pretty difficult to get them right. I remember on the Nevada volleyball team, ki-kieh Lani Kauhalali, she I butchered her name so many times when I was starting out. I wanted to be better than like the opposing announcers who just called her Kia. I wanted to like actually use her name, so I practiced for hours to be able to get that right. And I finally started getting it out correctly later on in my time here, but it's a lot of work, a lot of preparation to be able to make a broadcast good.
Yeah, I could definitely relate to the name issue because I remember I was covering a Guardians game on Guardians. It sounds so wrong to say.
Yeah,
but I was covering a Cleveland game on Beanball broadcast, and I didn't know how to say John Kenzie Noel's name the first time. I think so, I said something like John Kenzie or something. I don't remember what I said, but I know it was wrong. It took me hearing someone else say it to know how to say it. Like, I had no idea how to say it. Thankfully, no one watches my Twitch channel, so it was fine. But
That's when you just turn up the broadcast on your your computer or whatever you're watching it on, and then you just listen to it, and then you try to repeat it back, and you still say it wrong most of the time.
yeah.
With broadcasting, there's even on a local level here, there's still a lot that goes into it, because usually on the broadcast, I've been lucky enough to actually have a color commentator a couple times. Those have been the best broadcasts where I didn't necessarily have to carry all the stories and carry everything myself. But there's between 1 and 2 commentators. There have been some 3 commentator broadcasts in the past. I don't think those work very well. It's just way too many people trying to fight each other for airtime, especially when there's 2 color guys.
Yeah, because I was just about to ask, how does that even work?
Yeah, so I've seen, like, in the early 2000s, like when Joe Buck first started doing Fox NFL games, I know they had Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. They also had Chris Collinsworth in the booth with them for a while. I think those 3 did an okay-ish job, but at the same time, it just, like, a lot of the time, Troy Aikman really wasn't able to talk much. Collinsworth took up a lot of the airtime that Buck didn't take up. So you can watch a lot of 2000s highlights and make the mistake that it's just Buck and Collinsworth for most of the highlights because Aikman doesn't talk much. And then another broadcast that I know did that was Monday Night Football. They had such a mess of commentators after Tirico left. Like,
oh boy.
I mean, they had Tirico and Gruden for many years until Gruden went back to the Raiders, and that was something.
Don't I know it?
Yeah, you would know. But after those guys left, they had some of the worst broadcasts I have ever seen. Like, Jason Witten is still maybe the worst color commentator ever. The man had no idea what he was doing. He was so ill-prepared for the booth. But tangent aside, going back to the 3-man booth, they had, I forget who it was. It was Brian Greasy, Chris Levy, and I forget who else. But they had a 3-man booth, and I mean, yeah, I forgot who the third guy was because it was just those 2 that were talking most of the time. It's just a bit too complicated for that. So, like, keeping it to 1 or 2 commentators is mostly going to be best. 2 is definitely best. 1 is still acceptable. 3 is just way too many. I mean, obviously you can have sideline reporters and all that, but people that are going to be talking all the time, you can't really have that many of them. It's just not going to work.
No, it's not. There's just only so much time, and like too many cooks in the kitchen. That's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, it's the exact saying. Too many cooks in the kitchen. It makes sense.
Too many cooks in the kitchen, you burn your salami.
Yeah, pretty much. Grand salami. Anyway,
I literally was just about to make that same joke. We have creative jokes. We've used the same joke over again multiple times, right, Chase?
Angels.
Mariners.
We are so original, ladies and gentlemen. But
I'm sorry, how many home wins do you have since the original Xbox came out in the playoffs?
How many playoff wins do you have since the original Xbox came out?
I don't know, probably the same amount as you. How many World Series do you have in that amount of time?
0.
Exactly.
You're comparing yourself to the Mariners, my friend. That's not a very high bar to clear.
I'm comparing myself to you, which is all that matters in this very moment.
Division rival tangent aside, back to what goes into broadcasting. A lot of the time, throughout my time at Nevada, there's been sometimes there's only been one other person working with me on the entire broadcast, and maybe a couple people back in the control room, just like making sure everything's running properly. But it definitely was a skeleton crew for a very long time, with resources, and we did our best with the broadcasts. Obviously, it could be a lot better in terms of that. But, recently when I've been doing them, there's been like a couple people in the truck, and there's, they've been like in my ear telling me like when things need to be done and whatnot. And I think the broadcasts have gone a lot more smoothly since they moved to that. Obviously with NSN, they're professionals, so A lot of the broadcasts are going to be definitely better. It's a shame that students don't really get the chance to do that anymore.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed my time doing it. Just gotta, figure something else out now.
Yeah. I was just thinking while you were saying that, I genuinely wonder if it's physically possible for us to go an entire episode without talking shit about our other teams. I don't think we can do that. Like that is a challenge I want to see if we can do that for next episodes. Like, can we go an entire hour conversation without mentioning either of our teams?
That'll literally just be the last word we each speak. It's gonna be whoever cracks first and just says the other person's team name.
It gets to the end, it's like, oh yeah, thanks for watching, Angels.
Mariners. Wait, we did it wrong. We did the joke wrong. We did the joke wrong. We're roasting ourselves now.
No. Oh, God.
It does not matter how many wildcard slots the MLB adds. We will perpetually be one game out of a playoff spot.
It's like 14 teams per league. The Mariners are number 15 consistently somehow.
Yep.
On the last day of the season, they lose out of the spot.
Imagine a 40-team MLB league where 38 teams make the playoffs. The Mariners would be number 39.
Exactly.
Does not matter.
Would miss by as close to a half a game as you can get in a one-game back situation.
At least we're not missing by like 30 games.
Listen, there was no expectations for us this year, okay? You had I don't know what's worse. Not doing a damn thing or having expectations and not meeting them.
Having expectations and not meeting them is 100% worse, trust me.
You would know that from personal experience.
Yes, I am a Packers fan. I experience this every single freaking year.
That's the good thing about being a Raiders and Angels fan. No expectations for either of us.
Yep. And yet your team still somehow managed to miss them. Anyway, but no, there's a lot that goes into broadcasting even on a local level here. But yeah, that from what I've experienced with broadcasting here, there's like usually not even that many people on like the NSN productions, but I've been lucky enough to work with the broadcast team of program productions whenever on 3 separate occasions with Wolfpack games. I was a stage manager once and a runner twice, so I was able to like watch what everyone was doing. And there are so many people there. There's usually like at the very, I mean, let's face it, Nevada isn't exactly like a marquee place to broadcast a game from. The stadium is one of the worst from what I've heard in terms of trying to rig wiring to be able to get everything working.
Yuck.
Because like they have to bring like 1,000-foot cables and like make it go up the side of the back of Mackey Stadium and be able to like feed it into the broadcast booth and into everywhere else to like get the cameras to work and whatnot. It's just annoying.
You think they'd have that built in by now?
Yeah, you'd think that when they renovated the place, they wouldn't take away seating capacity and they would actually do something to make the stadium, look or work in a more functional and better manner. It shouldn't be that hard.
I've been telling this guy every time he should be Nevada's version of urinating tree. Like, he has everything to do that.
Yes, I have the ability to post random crap.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You've heard of urinating tree, get ready for pissing shrub.
Yes, pretty much. But yeah, with those broadcasts, it's definitely a lot more that goes into it. Everyone has to be on point. When things go wrong, it's like, everything just falls apart really quickly, especially the last time I was able to do it against Fresno State a few weeks ago. I forget exactly what the scenario was, but the play-by-play guy, John Sadak, who's the play-by-play guy for the Cincinnati Reds, funny enough, he's been the play-by-play guy, I think, every single time I've been working on these things for some reason. Or actually, no, second time he hadn't. But with Sadak, he went, I can't tell if he went off script or if he just missed his timing for something. But in any case, the entire production truck just started scrambling around because they were like in the middle of a like intro to Nevada, like showing highlights from the game against Oregon State the previous week. They had been doing that, and he went off and started talking about something that they wanted to show, like a camera shot of the person. I forget who it was, but it threw everything into chaos. So yeah, it's definitely a team effort, and especially with the commentary being the only person who like actually shows up and contributes something verbally. Those guys have to definitely be on point, or else the entire production falls apart.
Do you have any particular flubs that you want to share? Like really bad commentating calls you've had? Like
Ones I've made?
Yeah, tell us about how you introduced Nevada's libido.
Oh God. Okay. Yeah. So for those of you who don't know, there's a position in volleyball called a libero. It's essentially the person designated to like when the opposing team like spikes the ball over the net. They're the person that is essentially designated to usually dig the ball, which is pretty much putting your hands together like this and bopping it up in the air to like do the first of the typical 3 bump set, or the bump set.
Right. For those listening, you can't see Chase's hands.
Yeah,
he kind of had his hands like how
yeah,
do you
I
describe
have
it, like the basic like volleyball stance?
Yeah, pretty much that. That's the libero's job for the most part.
Not interlocked, right?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. I've seen both. It just depends on preference.
Yeah, you could do knuckles, you could clasp, you can interlock your fingers, whatever it feels, whatever you want to feel.
Yeah,
just
pretty much.
Making sure the audio listeners are included.
Yeah, no, pretty much that's basically what it is. But pretty much in the middle of the last game I did, I completely like just flubbed the introduction for Nevada's yes, Nevada's libero, and I said the libido of the Nevada team. I don't think anyone really noticed necessarily, but like I noticed immediately, and even my color commentator didn't notice, and I told her afterward, and she just started laughing. But no, that was a that was a horrible moment, because I've been doing volleyball for a long time. I know what it's called. I just completely I just messed up the word I was trying to say. My brain did not brain, and it led to a really bad flub.
Best of timing for stuff like that, am I right?
Yeah, the best of times, the worst of times.
I'm trying to think of a really particularly bad one that I've had. I think the big moment, like I already said, the big moment I remember from Beanball last week, the Cal Rally Big Dumper home run. The fact that that's his nickname is wild.
Hey, he's a fun-loving guy, and he is certainly a big dumper.
Yes, he is. I don't know. Any other fun moments that you have from commentating over, what did you say, Nevada's football teams?
Nevada.
Or
yeah.
sports teams?
Yeah, I mean, exactly what happened there is pretty much just what happened with just saying the wrong word. I can't really think of another time where I just really flubbed, aside from maybe like calling a match a game or something like that. I've done that a couple times.
Do you have any like favorite calls that you've made?
In terms of favorite calls, I mean, I think a lot of the ones I've done are solid. There's not like anything spectacular so far. I don't know. Honestly, I think probably my favorite call I've done was when I got an opportunity to do essentially the kickoff event of the 150th celebration, because I got called last minute to do the Nevada volleyball game against UNLV on October 12th of last year, which I had completely forgotten up to that point was the 149th anniversary. Didn't know anything about the 150th celebration much at that point. They kind of started announcing it in the lead up to the game, to that date. And then I figured out that it was the only sporting event for Nevada taking place on that day. They had planned it like that so that it would be against UNLV on that day. And they kind of went all out, because For a lot of my time here, Nevada's volleyball team has been really bad.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people knew of their existence for the most part. Most games were just like attended by maybe 600 people. That was considered a really good crowd. Obviously, UNLV is a huge draw. I mean, that's pretty obvious. But for that game, there were a lot of students from the previous events that just decided to go to a volleyball game, and they brought the band there for what I think was the first time they ever did that. I'm not sure. They do it more frequently now. They have the band go to those games, but it was the first time I'd ever seen the band there, and the team was like buzzing. I saw them like pointing up at the band as I'm preparing my game. They were excited, and there was an intensity for a team that hadn't won in conference yet and was far and away the worst team in the Mountain West. They really wanted to win that, and UNLV was a really, really good team. It was a fantastic match, and Nevada ended up winning somehow. So it was like one of, I think, 4 conference wins on the season out of 18 games last year. And it was against a team who I think ended up as the 2 or 3 seed in the Mountain West tournament. So it was a big upset. I listened back to the call, and I think I let myself get like a little bit too excited. I distinctly remember for a lot of that game, I was like, all right, my call has to meet the moment and all that. And I think I lost a lot of the nuance that I had for a lot of my broadcast calls. I think I definitely did a better job with softball in this spring. I like a lot of my home run calls for that. I think it worked out pretty well, and I got to call our softball team's star player at the time, Chelly Sanini. She got into the top 25 all time in NCAA history in stolen bases.
I remember that. You showed me that call. We're gonna throw it in here right here.
But yeah, no, that call was a pretty fun one to do, and yeah, it was a pretty big moment. I think I learned a lot from the UNLV call. I obviously still could be better. Just need like more experience, more time, more practice. But I think with that one would probably be my favorite. Honestly, the softball broadcasts were probably my favorite ones that I have been able to do. There's a lot of good memories definitely with announcing at Nevada. Just gotta figure out I forget what the tape is called, the like resume tape. I know there's a name for it.
Oh, the demo tape?
Demo tape, yep. I completely forgot the name of it there, but
Oh, I know what it's called because I still need to make mine.
yeah, I need to make mine and like start sending it out to people. So probably end up doing that over winter break.
Yeah.
Because again, we are college students and we do have way too much work.
Listen, see. You say winter break. You're lucky. I have like a week of winter break because I have a winter class I'm taking right in the middle of it. So.
Well, that was your choice.
Listen, it's either take it during everything else that's going on in spring semester or take it by itself. Which I'm sorry, for a basic marketing class, I've seen what happens when I have a sleeper class this semester. I'm gonna take that by itself here.
I'm just gonna work and make money over winter semester in case I get a job somewhere and need to be able to move somewhere else. But yeah, no, I'm winding down my time at college, so just gotta.
We are winding down our time at college.
We both are.
Yeah. Last semester, spring 2025. Woohoo.
Yep. Done with the college experience, but never done learning.
Exactly.
As we're starting to figure out the hard way.
But we are done making friends.
Yes,
Anyway.
exactly. And we weren't that good to begin with.
Exactly. All right. Well, I think that just covers everything we have to talk about here. So, Chase, you got any socials you want to plug right at the end?
Not right now. I mean, honestly, I'm less active on social media than I should be, but you can follow me at Chase Dulude on the social media app formerly known as Twitter. I refuse to call it by its current name. Pretty much at Chase Dulude on all socials. I am very original with my names, and yeah, maybe you'll start seeing some stuff from me when I get opportunities to maybe potentially even work with NSN in the future.
There you go. And as far as my stuff goes, stringbean_RSJ on Instagram, RSJ Stringbean on X, and I believe I'm stringbean_RSJ as well on Threads. Once again, that account is created out of spite. And Blue Sky on the way as well, also out of spite. And at Beanball Broadcast on YouTube and Twitch, if you want to check out my stuff there. And that wraps up episode 2 of the Media Guide podcast. We'll be back in about 2 weeks. We're going to take a week off for Thanksgiving. And we'll be back December 5th for episode 3. And we're still trying to debating a topic. It's either going to be like current trends in sports, commentary, or something else. You'll know in the first 30 seconds of next show.
Yes.
Have yourself a good rest of your week.
Angels.
Fuck off.